There is a soft, haunting truth you already know, but you spend most of your days pretending not to. You are not in control of your life, and yet you cling to the illusion that you are. Control is sweet. It tastes like safety, like certainty, like power. Control promises that the future will unfold exactly as you wish. It whispers that loss can be prevented, that pain can be avoided, that change can be managed, that unpredictability can be tamed. And we believe it, even though life has proven, again and again, that control is the most fragile story we tell ourselves. You plan your day, and a single phone call breaks it apart. You expect a conversation to go smoothly, and it twists in a direction you didn't foresee. You hold tightly to someone you love, and life pulls them from your hands. You create a path for yourself, and a single moment reroutes your entire existence. Everything you cling to, your identity, your relationships, your routines, your plans, all of it can shift without warning. You know this, and yet you continue trying to control everything as if control were oxygen. But let me offer you a deeper truth. Control is not oxygen. It is a cage made of smoke, and the sooner you stop grasping for it, the sooner you can finally breathe. Why we fall in love with the illusion. We cling to control for the same reason a drowning person clings to anything, because we fear the depth below us. Control feels like the only protection against a world that refuses to be predictable. It gives structure to chaos. It gives certainty to insecurity. It gives meaning to randomness. But this comfort is temporary, like holding onto a branch in a storm, like gripping sand in your fist, like trying to confine the ocean in a bucket. Control gives you the illusion of safety while quietly exhausting your spirit, because beneath it, a quieter truth speaks. You are afraid, not of life, but of life happening without your permission. Not of change, but of change you did not schedule. Not of uncertainty, but of uncertainty you cannot negotiate with. So you craft a world where everything feels manageable. Plans, schedules, expectations, rules, predictions, contingencies, mental rehearsals. But these are only walls you paint onto the sky to convince yourself the sky cannot move. Life moves anyway. The ego lives on control. The desire for control is born in the ego. The ego believes, I am the center of this story. I must shape it. I must protect it. I must direct it. I must influence everything. The ego is terrified of surrender because surrender requires trust, and trust requires humility, and humility requires acknowledging that life is larger than you. The ego hates that truth. It wants to be the architect, the driver, the commander, the author. It wants to believe that outcomes bend to its will and that the universe keeps notes on its intentions. But the universe does not negotiate with the ego's demands. It moves through seasons, rhythms, tides, cycles, too vast to be controlled by a single mind. Your ego is a small lamp trying to light the entire ocean. And the ocean does not need the lamp. Control is the opposite of trust. There is an ancient river running beneath your life, a current of events, opportunities, obstacles, and endings that moves with or without your approval. You can fight this river. You can build barricades and create elaborate plans and pretend the flow is yours to command. But when has the river ever obeyed you? Control demands, I must know what will happen. Trust whispers, I will allow what happens to move me. Control says, I must stay in charge. Trust says, I am held, even when I don't understand. Control trembles. Trust breathes. Control resists. Trust flows. Control tightens the fist. Trust opens the palm. When you trust life, you cooperate with truth. When you cling to control, you fight against reality. And reality always wins. The illusion of, if I try hard enough, I can prevent pain. Most control is not about creating success. It is about avoiding pain. You believe, if I plan enough, if I anticipate enough, if I prepare enough, if I calculate enough, nothing will hurt me. But life is not a game of avoidance. Pain is part of the human experience. Loss, change, transformation, disappointment, uncertainty. Trying to control life to avoid pain only creates a different kind of pain. Anxiety, tension, exhaustion, hypervigilance, self-blame, fear. You trade real pain, pain that heals, pain that teaches, pain that transforms, for artificial pain, pain that drains your life without offering anything in return. You cannot control your way out of pain. You can only trust your way through it. Life unfolds more beautifully without your interference. Think of the most meaningful things that have ever happened in your life. Did you plan them? Did you predict them? Were they the result of perfectly controlled circumstances? Or did they arrive unexpectedly, like a sudden shift in the wind, like a person you didn't expect to meet, like an opportunity that appeared from nowhere, like a moment that changed the direction of your life without your permission? Life's most beautiful movements happen in the spaces where you are not trying to control it. When your plans fall apart, new paths appear. When someone leaves, someone else arrives. When an ending comes, a beginning hides inside it. When uncertainty expands, so does possibility. Life does not blossom under your control. It blossoms under your participation. It grows when you stop interfering. It reveals itself when you stop demanding. When control fails, clarity begins. Have you ever noticed what happens in the moments when your plans fall apart? At first, panic, a tightening in the chest, a narrative in the mind that screams, "This wasn't supposed to happen." But then, if you pay attention, something else emerges. A clearing, a stillness, a new awareness. Because when control slips through your fingers, your vision widens. You stop staring at life through the narrow lens of your expectations and begin to see what is actually in front of you. Control narrows perception. Surrender expands it. When control fails, life is allowed to speak. You begin to notice paths you would have never seen, while clinging to the one path you insisted on. You begin to notice people you would have overlooked while chasing the people you thought you needed. You begin to notice opportunities that were invisible while you were busy gripping the past. When you lose control, you gain clarity. This is the paradox you resist. Control blinds you. Surrender reveals you. The fear beneath all control. The fear of being changed. The deepest reason you cling to control is not because you want life to go your way. It is because you fear what will happen if life changes you. You fear becoming someone else. You fear losing the identity you spent so long constructing. You fear that the unknown version of you might not survive the unknown future. But here is the truth you try to outrun. You cannot cling to who you are and also become who you're meant to be. Control freezes you into a smaller identity than the one life is calling forth. You are not meant to stay the same. You are meant to evolve with each season, each heartbreak, each lesson, each surrender. Life changes you not to break you but to open you. Trying to control life is trying to prevent your own transformation. And transformation is the very nature of being alive, the futility of predicting life. Humans are astonishing creatures. We cannot predict tomorrow, yet we spend most of our energy pretending we can. We consult our calendars as if they were prophecies. We map our 5-year plans as if life will politely obey them. We visualize outcomes as if imagination guarantees reality. But tell me, what important moment in your life did you successfully predict? You didn't predict the greatest people you met. You didn't predict the moments that broke you open. You didn't predict the events that forced you to grow. You didn't predict the opportunities that shaped you. You didn't predict the miracles disguised as mistakes. Life is not a formula. It is a tide. Trying to control it is like drawing lines in the sand to control the waves. The tide moves anyway. And strangely, once you stop trying to predict life, you begin to participate in it. Prediction is stale. Participation is alive. Control is the source of anxiety. Anxiety is not born from uncertainty itself. Anxiety is born from the need to control uncertainty. You fear the unknown only because you believe you must dominate it. You fear change only because you believe you must orchestrate it. You fear outcomes only because you believe you must guarantee them. Release the belief that you must control life, and uncertainty stops being a threat. It becomes an adventure. Change stops being danger. It becomes evolution. Outcomes stop being battlegrounds. They become revelations. Anxiety loosens when control loosens. Freedom begins when control ends. The more you cling, the more life slips away. Imagine holding water in your hands. If you gently cup your palms, the water stays. But if you squeeze too tightly, if you cling, the water escapes through the cracks between your fingers. Life is like this. Cling to time, and you feel like it is slipping away. Cling to people, and you push them from your grasp. Cling to control, and life becomes uncontrollable. Cling to identity, and you trap yourself in a version of you that no longer fits. Cling to certainty, and you live in fear. Cling to expectations, and every moment becomes a disappointment. It is not life that slips away from you. It is your grip that squeezes life out of your hands. The softer your grip, the more life stays. The more you release, the more life reveals. The wisdom of cooperation with life. Trying to control life is trying to wrestle with the wind. You cannot overpower it. You can only work with it. The wise do not try to dominate life. They cooperate with it. They listen to its rhythm. They honor its timing. They adapt to its changes. They allow themselves to be moved by its deeper intelligence. This cooperation is not passive. It is deeply active, but not forceful. It is like sailing. You do not control the wind. You adjust your sails. It is like dancing. You do not control the music. You move with the beat. It is like breathing. You do not control the air. You open to it. Control is brittle. Cooperation is fluid. Life respects those who cooperate with its flow. Life without control is not chaos. It is clarity. People fear surrender because they assume that without control, life will fall into chaos. But look closely. Look at the world around you. The trees are not in chaos. The wind is not in chaos. The seasons are not in chaos. The stars are not in chaos. The oceans are not in chaos. Nature moves with flawless intelligence precisely because it does not try to control itself. It allows. It responds. It adapts. It flows. Life is chaotic only when you fight it. Life becomes clear when you stop fighting it. Life becomes peaceful when you stop trying to dominate it. Life becomes simple when you stop demanding that it obey your plans. Life becomes beautiful when you finally let life be life. The moment you stop controlling, life starts teaching. There comes a moment, quiet, subtle, unforced, when you finally loosen your grip. Not because you chose to, but because you've grown tired of wrestling with what refuses to be tamed. And in that moment, something extraordinary happens. Life begins to teach you. Not through struggle, but through clarity. Not through resistance, but through openness. Not through force, but through presence. When control loosens, awareness sharpens. You begin to notice the wisdom hiding in every moment. The lesson in a delay, the opportunity in a setback, the guidance in a coincidence, the truth in a silence, the blessing in an ending, the redirection in an obstacle, the rebirth in a collapse. Life has always been speaking to you, but control is loud. Control is noisy. Control drowns out the whisper. When you stop trying to shape life, you finally hear what life has been trying to shape in you. This is how you begin to awaken, not by controlling life, but by listening to it, the self that emerges beyond control. Who are you when you stop gripping the world? Not the tense version of you who is always anticipating danger. Not the calculating version of you always plotting outcomes. Not the cautious version of you always rehearsing tomorrow. But you, without the armor, without the performance, without the need to manage everything. There is a softer self underneath all the tension, a wiser self underneath all the planning, a freer self underneath all the fear. This self does not live on effort. It lives on awareness. It does not need control to feel safe. It feels safe because it trusts the deeper intelligence unfolding through life. This is the version of you that laughs more easily, breathes more freely, loves more deeply, forgives more quickly, and rests more willingly. This is the real you. The one who was buried beneath layers of control you believed were necessary, but never were. What you lose when you chase control. Control promises safety, but it steals something priceless. Your presence. It blinds you to the warmth of the person sitting beside you, the softness of a quiet morning, the beauty of imperfection, the richness of a moment that wasn't planned, the joy hidden in spontaneity, the meaning in unexpected turns. When you chase control, you become a manager of life, not a participant in it. You miss the delicate parts, the fleeting glances, the unscripted laughter, the tender surprises, the subtle synchronicities. You miss life's poetry because you're too busy editing the script. You don't notice that the universe is whispering encouragement because your mind is rehearsing caution. Control is expensive. It costs you the one thing you can never replace. Now, the sweet relief of surrender. At first, surrender feels frightening. Letting go of control feels like letting go of safety. Letting go of certainty feels like stepping into the dark. Letting go of expectations feels like losing ground. But then something shifts. You notice your breath falling into rhythm. You notice your muscles release their grip. You notice your mind become quieter, less argumentative, more spacious. And from that spaciousness comes relief, a kind of relief you may not have felt in years. Because for the first time, you are no longer carrying everything. You are no longer forcing everything. You are no longer controlling everything. You realize that the weight you were carrying was not the weight of life, but the weight of trying to control life. Surrender is not falling. Surrender is floating. Surrender is not losing. Surrender is returning. Surrender is not weakness. Surrender is wisdom wearing softness. Life's intelligence is greater than your plans. You assume that the safest path is the one you design. But life's intelligence is older than you, wiser than you, more expansive than you. It has shaped galaxies, seasons, ecosystems, tides, human beings. It has guided your breath every moment of your existence. Do you truly believe that this vast, ancient intelligence needs your plans to operate correctly? Or is it possible that life is already guiding you in ways your mind can't yet comprehend? Control tries to protect you. Life tries to grow you. And growth rarely looks like your plans. Often, it looks like interruption. It looks like detour. It looks like redirection. It looks like surprise. It looks like collapse. Right before it looks like expansion. When you trust life more than you trust your fears, you begin to see that everything is happening for you, not to you. The closing meditation. Release the illusion. Take a moment. A soft breath in. A softer breath out. If you can, place your hands gently on your lap. Not to control the breath. Not to control the moment. Just to be here. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Let your heart unguard itself just a little. Now imagine you are holding a rope. Not a real rope. A rope made of expectations, fear, plans, control. Feel how tightly you've been gripping it. How your fingers ache from holding the world together. Now, softly, without force, let the rope slip from your grasp. Not drop it. Just loosen your grip. Feel the space that appears in your chest. Feel the breath deepen without instruction. Feel the mind quieten without effort. This is what it feels like to stop controlling. This is what it feels like to trust. And whisper gently inward, I release what was never mine. I trust what has always guided me. I am ready to live. Control is the sweetest illusion we refuse to release. But release is the doorway to the life you have been missing. Walk through it,